Welcome Galactic family. Greetings, Masters. I am METATRON, Angel of Light, accompanied by Tiburon of the Crystal Service. We welcome each of you into a vector of unconditional love. Today we will talk about a very timely issue, natural disasters. We understand the trauma and deep sadness as well as the great pain and anguish that accompany catastrophic events such as hurricanes, forest fires, supertornadoes and earthquakes that have occurred in recent years. A super temperature happened very recently in the Gulf of Mexico, disastrously reaching Texas and Louisiana. Moment of changes. Being a human at this time of change on Earth is extremely difficult for many people, and we ask all of you to offer your prayers to those who are suffering harrowing losses. We of the angelic kingdom are with you. Although there has been a tragic loss of lives, as well as devastation of land and structures, these catastrophes have no intention of punishment. Masters, what is happening needs to happen. It is a necessary realignment. Is the shift from Earth to a new energy, and, in fact, this kind of occurrence will continue on a regional level all over the planet. The energy of change. We feel your pain for these losses, and we respect them very much for sustaining the change through the difficulties they are facing. We really understand the sadness of the duality realms. And we surround you with love in these times of transition. But understand that everything is happening for a purpose, and the courageous and sacred purpose chosen by humanity is ascender. Every soul, whose physical life ends in such events, made that choice freely and with a high intention. We also tell you that, although difficult, these events unite people and really bring out the best of human beings, who come together to help each other. And in fact this union was seen in the areas of Texas and Louisiana hit by the hurricane and tropical storm. On the other hand, while the purifying aspect of hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes and tsunamis is a natural necessity on the planet, these more recent occurrences also have the effect of renewing priorities. We have shared with you information regarding the enhancement and purification of the Earth in its quest for balance and preparation for change. However, many of you do not realize that there are also very intricate relationships between the psychological environment of the collective human thought stream and the subsequent effect on weather and weather patterns. We are telling you that people's collective thoughts can and do play a fundamental role. The collective emotions, thoughts, and feelings of humanity flow into the consciousness field of living Earth, influencing it on several levels. In fact, it is from the field of consciousness of Earth's natural patterns that all effects emerge in its climate and in its annual seasons. Consequently, humanity collectively can and does play a role in the formation and effect of what you consider to be natural disasters, especially in times of polarization and fear. Polarization and rehabilitation. In this way, natural disasters usually end up correcting an existing or emerging imbalance, and creating conditions for greater fulfillment of the real purpose of life, which is to love and truly and unconditionally help one another. When radical polarization occurs in the human field, it creates a frequency-based imbalance based on divisive attitudes that is able to negatively affect the path of ascension and prevent the desired quality of life and higher goals. Thus, natural disasters often create a scenario that alters priorities, raises the level of collective thinking and brings a higher good, promoting a need for unity, care and mutual help in the face of catastrophe. It is true that when human beings suffer great losses in devastating disasters, however excruciating and painful they may be, survivors always express their gratitude for still being alive. For such traumatic events bring a renewed sense of priority, an understanding of the gift of life. And in most cases, these people begin to live life with a renewed sense of harmony and love for each other, and with an ever-increasing understanding that modifies them for the better. The physical planet is highly conscious. In fact, more conscious than humanity at this time. The living Earth is attuned to the needs, resonance, and patterns of vibratory energy of human thought, and is aligned with the path of the ascension of mankind in a new Earth. Make no mistake, natural weather patterns of cleaning are not only necessary, but also contain vast geological patterns and printable codes. These patterns are fluid, so that while they exist, their final expression is usually a format of possibilities and probabilities, imprinted and directed by consciousness. The patterns themselves can be activated in specific ways and effects. Question from Tiburon to Metatron. From the information given in recent years, we understand that these catastrophes are necessary for the ascension. Could you talk a bit more about this? Archangel Metatron. Hurricanes, storms, earthquakes, floods, etc., are always necessary for the balance and well-being of the Earth. Consequently, the planet's electromagnetic balancing, as well as the succinct purposes of humanity, are naturally served when such events occur. Earth is always dynamic. One must understand that the equilibrium of the living planet is a constant natural process. The change of balance that has always occurred will continue to occur as needed. It is an ongoing process. But, at this moment, these storms also serve to awaken humanity to a greater truth, a higher purpose. For it is in the difficult experiential arena of disasters and catastrophes that human life is drastically and permanently altered. Just as the human physical body and the auric body go through necessary adjustments according to external experiences and forces, so the body of the living planet Earth undergoes changes to rebalance itself. To a certain extent, mankind's collective attitudes, emotions, and desires mingle and merge with the physical aspects of nature, so that such storms and disasters, in certain circumstances, are the result of psychological activities as well as physical climatic conditions. Disasters promote a rather drastic social shock. This immediate confrontation breaks habitual institutionalized patterns of behavior and quickly causes people to react in the now, opening them to more sensitive actions of help and survival. This effect can bring about social, political and personal change. Emotional influence as a human event. Mass humanity consider storms, hurricanes, rains, earthquakes, etc., as natural events, however do not consider thoughts and emotions as natural events under the same conditions. We tell you that there is a real and valid interaction between emotional attitudes and the physical events of the third dimension. Although most humans realize that the climate affects their emotions and moods, very few realize and deeply understand that their mood and resulting attitudes can have a full effect on the climate. While this may seem obscure and even unbelievable to many people, know that you are never unconscious victims of natural disasters. At first glance, it may seem so, but you must understand that at a higher level you have prepared the script of the events of your own lives, and therefore you have voluntarily contributed to creating them, for the greater good and higher growth. In fact, their lives are pre-planned by the higher self. You are individually, collectively and co-creatively involved in all the events and cycles of the earth. Do you understand? A global event. The increasing polarization and consequent violence has greatly influenced the longevity and intensity of hurricanes and floods that have been occurring in the United States. Do not think that this is a specific punishment for a particular region. This is not a punishment, but an opportunity for raising awareness and changing priorities. Nor is it really regional, but a global event, in the sense of being the focus of media attention around the world. What happened in the face of the catastrophic flood, and as a consequence of it, provided a unique and perfect opportunity for change, serving as an awakening, a unifying desire for the human being to help his fellow humans. If the quality of life that is considered spiritual and biologically necessary fails, the adjustments need to happen. Social and political problems can in fact be modified, reformulated and reformed by a natural catastrophe, if political means fail. Creative response. Disasters provide a temporary release of the status quo in everyday life. Worries, aggressions, prejudices, inhibitions and anxieties associated with the immediate past and future are temporarily left out. This is clearly because these disasters literally force people to focus all their attention on survival, on the needs of the immediate moment, within the context of present reality. In this way, catastrophes stimulate the awakening of the courage and the creative energies of the population. In emergency survival situations, humans tend to see each other as human companions in need, not categorized by race, religion, or economic class. Help is offered based on the common need of all. In fact, this was exemplified in the altruistic and heroic actions of so many people in the aftermath of the recent hurricane in Texas. People from all over the United States, Canada and Mexico have come together to offer help. Many courageous rescues came not from government or military agencies, but from those whom his media referred to as the Cajun and Cowboy naval forces. Bearded, tattooed and rude, ready and highly capable of driving their boats through the raging currents into flood-ridden neighborhoods to heroically rescue people of all ages, religions, and races. This action inspired others to play various roles, opening their homes, providing food and bedding for the less fortunate. Can you see the good side of this drama? Do you realize that such noble actions would not have happened without the catastrophic flood scenario? We tell you that the actions of both the rescuers and the redeemed changed the attitudes and the focus of millions of people, affecting not only those in the affected areas, but also hundreds of thousands of souls all over the planet who attended the events. Television, the internet and other media. Human being and nature. The human being cannot separate himself, divorce himself from nature, nor from the collective experiential intentions of nature. Although in these moments of violent expression you may consider yourself an adversary, at a higher level you are aware that you have collectively played a part in the co-creation of the painful trauma of experience, and that this same trauma has made the best side emerge of humanity. In this way, you are forced to look for reasons outside of yourself to explain what seems to be happening. The systems of beliefs and the struggle for survival, upon which you base your life, really condition and program your existence in such a way that you externally deny what you know internally. You have created certain divisions because of your cultural programming and the beliefs that make this type of explanation extremely important but equally difficult to contemplate or truly assimilate in a higher context. You think of floods and earthquakes as totally natural events, but do not consider thoughts or emotions as such, nor do you consider that your fears, prejudices or emotionally charged thoughts played a role in the manifestation of any catastrophe. And that the catastrophe itself helps them to raise their consciousness to a more attentive and noble scope. Shutting down. Masters, we emphasize that each of you has participated in every experience you experience. The Earth University is a purposeful illusion, but if it did not seem real, you would not learn it. Life can be difficult, and this is a great truth. But, it is usually at very difficult times that you face the situation and transcend the prisons and limits of the past. For it is by facing your own projects, that you master the lessons of love offered by the curriculum of duality. Paradoxically, natural disasters reveal the altruistic aspect of humanity, in which the human being becomes a lovable being, and the neighbors become truly helpful. The lessons learned from these experiences, while devastating in the third dimension, also modify people for the better, revealing a greater truth, the truth of love. I am METATRON, accompanied by Tiburon of the crystalline service. And we share these truths with you. You are deeply loved. And this is how it is, and this is it.